So we got together again with Geg, and we did 10 Necrotic Wake, and we kind of got farmed by it, not gonna lie. I was on my Paladin, he was tanking. Wanted to give him a little bit of a more exploratory look at tanking. Figured we'd still be able to get it done. Also wanted to get some keys done on my Paladin, so I figured it was a good opportunity. It didn't go well, and part of it was prideful. It's like learning prideful for the first time, and part of it was just me sucking, but a lot of it was just inexperience and the group around us. We had some people DC, and ultimately we couldn't finish the key, even though we were going to be in there for like over an hour. I was like, let's finish it, no problem. But yeah, people DC, so we couldn't finish the third boss. We just couldn't kill it without the people that were offline. And I was like, well, you know what? Let's do the 9 instead. So we go back into the 9 and we absolutely obliterate it. We upgrade it twice, like double upgrade it. And he says to me, it's like a really like strong moment that I feel like happened here. He goes, what was the difference between the 10 and the 9 that it went so much better? Now, obviously, like, we had 5 players, and 9's easier anyway. I mean, I guess technically a lot of the issues we had in the 10 were too prideful though, so they couldn't occur in the 9. And maybe we had a better group for the 9 anyway, but I think like the most like relevant answer is like, you learned everything that you needed to learn in the 10, and then you just got better, so the 9 was easier, right? It's almost like simplistic but brilliant, right? Like that's what WoW is. Like you progress, and then it's easy. Like even in a raid boss, you kill the boss for the first time, and then the second time you kill it, you're like, how was this ever hard? You know what I mean? So a little experimental style of video here. We just got some clips side by side. I want you to have a look at them. I'm not going to preface them, just have a look at them. I want you to give your thoughts, or at least think to yourself, what could you do better? And then react to what gets done and maybe give your thoughts on it. And you could critique my play too, whatever you feel like is relevant, but it's just like a good brain exercise. I think like to do this in WoW is good for everybody, to think like, man, how can I improve? Let's have a look at it side by side. It's so rare that you get to see 2 keys side by side like this. And I know one's a 9 and a 10, but I think it's a good effort. So let me know what you think. Have a fun watch. And if you like this style of video as well, I'm going to keep doing keys with them. We'll see how it goes. So let me know what you think about all this. And again, this is where I would recommend mind controlling one mob out just to make it a little easier on everybody, but it's up to you if you don't feel like it's worth it. Otherwise, again, it's just multiple mobs needing interrupts, and that's it.
Oh, I almost dropped it.
Should be alright.
Damn it.
Yes, it's a tough pack. There's a lot of mobs too in it, so with Necrotic it gets particularly complicated.
Yeah, it was like... Just run back.
Yep, yeah, that's fine. Again, another big pull here.
This big pack.
Yeah, this is a pretty tough pack. So this is, again, making sure that you're able to survive this pack, whatever you have to do. If it's kite or you use CDs or plan around something else that we don't usually plan around, then that's definitely what you want to practice. And otherwise, just do as much interrupting as possible and as much disruption as possible, grips and stuff. Drain fluids is the big thing. It's died really quick this time, so we have no danger from it. But now you have the mob that we would normally need to kill for the prideful split. But again, we're doing a 9, so it doesn't come into play. So I'm going to just use the steward here. We're going to get the buff from this Goliath, and then we're going to go into the boss if you want to Goliath real quick. So you grab the boss, I'll use the items, and then there's going to be these blue orbs on the ground that when you have a chance, you'll want to come over and grab, because it's going to be a huge damage buff.
Okay.
Just grab one of those and makes it like do AoE damage around you. But yeah, this is a super easy fight just because of all these things. Usually you never even have to do any of the mechanics, but if you did, there's these ads that just need to be killed, and then you just want to dodge the green puddles they leave after that. And then there's like a tank mechanic. Just be careful. Yeah, you're going towards trash, so
Sorry
probably
about that.
always want to kite against the wall here, just to be safe. You can just come back, loop around to the left there, and you'll be safe.
Shit.
Yeah, a lot of necrotic. I'm gonna bop you. Oh, you died. But...
Yeah, dang it.
Oh well.
Sorry, I wasn't watching Necrotic.
No problem. Might be a wipe though. Yeah, obviously the trash is what caused the problems there. Cool, should be good to pull it. And then again, just bring it back to the corner here so we don't have ever fear of trash, and everybody will just hopefully bring their maggots to the boss, and if not, you can grip them in, and yeah, just facilitate getting them killed right under the boss is kind of the big thing. There you go, and then move from all of that. And that should look like that every time. Every time they come out, 3 should die really quick. You move, watch fetid gas, move again, and that's the whole fight. Okay, so the next heart-heaving wretch is coming in 2 seconds, and that's going to be more ads. So again, we'll see where they spawn. They're going to spawn over on the druid. And then quickly try to help gather them in if you can. Otherwise, just AoE on top of them and move again. Both mechanics are happening at once. It's good. Especially if you have multiple range. Just makes it pretty easy to kill them, but sometimes you see how sides actually got stuck over there. So not ideal.
Yeah.
That's where a grip really comes into play. If you could make a heady play there just to make sure that somebody doesn't kind of get stuck on the wrong side if an ad's chasing them.
Yeah, I used it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not your responsibility, honestly. It's just one of those things that if you could do, it would be it'd be great for the group. Cool. And up on this left here, there's again another robot that a lot of people might want to try to get. I could do it now, and we can get it. It's just a little close to some trash here that we do not want to kill. So just need to make sure nobody aggroes them. It's a little risky. A lot of times in these like this level key, I won't even spawn it because if people run into the trash, it's really going to mess up the route. But just something to keep in mind. Those little blue orbs that are going to come out of it are going to do a ton of damage if you pick one up. Yeah, I see we got too close.
Yep.
It's that mechanic there. Wrath of Zolramus. That's good. AMZ there is perfect.
Oh shit, there's a group. Oh no, that's the guy Addy spawns.
Yeah, that's the mob that it spawns. He spawns mobs that, like I said, they don't count for anything. So I'm not going to get this time. I don't want to risk it. Let's just keep going straight and we'll be all right. Now this next big pack here, we'll want to get these Bone Menders and Marauders. And if we do this right, this should be prideful. It looks like it's still going to happen, but it's going to be a lot tighter of a pack now. Typically when we come here, it would be literally kill all 3 in prideful spawns. But if we don't kill these evenly, we're going to have prideful in the middle of the pack. So hopefully people will do that. And that there is just a big fear. If that gets off, you could use Icebound, or I'm sorry, Lichborn to stop the fear, or you could AMS preemptively to stop the fear, but obviously it can just be interrupted. Yeah, there you go. AMS works well. We're in trouble here. Yeah, this is not really gonna work out. Unfortunately, you can't really have pride spawn in the middle of the pack like that, but that's mostly a fault of the group. And then just try to keep an eye on this Bone Mender. It's doing this Bone Mend cast. It's going to be doing a lot of healing to the group. It's going to make the group go a lot longer. And then just keep in mind that that Necrotic Bolt is going to put a healing reduction on you every time it happens. If the healer is also aware of it, it's not a big problem. But as a Death Knight, specifically, if you see that's on you, I often try to wait on Death Strike. Like if I'm relying on a Death Strike and you know the healer's going to get that off you, it's probably better to just give the healer a second to get that off you before Trying to assume you're going to get any value out of it. Okay, so again, with your pet dying, it would have been 40% here, and we'd go into this big pack with Prideful, but again, doesn't matter on a 9, so we can just go. And we're going for this big Shuffling Corpse pack, and I usually combine it with those Bone Carvers to our right, just because we have Pride, we can kill everything really easily. And just something to keep in mind, these Bone Flaves are going to put a really bad bleed on you. Obviously with Necrotic you'll want to kite, but just make sure that if you can stop those...
Oh, dang.
It's all good. But yeah, if you can stop those bleeds, that would be ideal. I'll res you. So even with this pat coming, it's fine. As long as we hug the right, it won't aggro. But if anybody doesn't hug the right, we're going to aggro that pack. So something to keep in mind when you're hugging, especially if people are looking like they're not confident. So with Vortex down, that would have been a great opportunity if you needed to kite. Otherwise, that pack is actually like kind of sleeper dangerous. Like I usually just grab it and let the DPS fend for themselves, because you're gonna get like 50 stacks in Necrotic really quickly. So it's better to just let them, since it dies so quick anyway, just kind of let them handle it.
When do you use this other hammer here on the boss?
Yeah, we can just use it at any point. Whatever you feel confident like that you want to use it for is the best. Yeah, it's good to experiment too, you know, like make sure you're using it. Oh yeah, let's kill this pet though, because if we don't, it's gonna run around the left here and it's gonna aggro trash. I forgot that you still had this at this point. So this is actually good that we had this happen. Yeah, if you ever have a mind control pet and you run up onto this broken pillar, the mind control pet will run around to the left and it will aggro the pack that's sitting there that we're skipping.
I didn't see where I can turn him off or dismiss him.
Oh yeah, well I have a macro for it. If you want, I can give that to you. Remind me after, I can give it to you. Makes it one click, and it also retargets it.
Or anything like that.
What was that?
I didn't see anywhere to like click it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll give you a macro and make it a lot easier. But yeah, you'd have to right click the party frame to do it, otherwise it's kind of cumbersome.
Which one is first up here?
So up here, we want to get the 2 packs on the left without that big patrol coming in. So basically quickly grip the collector over to here to make sure that nothing else aggroes. And those mobs, those spare parts, like I don't even think they give count, so it really doesn't even matter when you fight those. It's just typically they're gonna aggro into us regardless. Like they're gonna come, but it's not gonna complicate anything, maybe besides Necrotic. And they usually die so quick. I mean, they don't even have like 10k health or something. So we aggroed that pack, so that's gonna make things a little bit more complicated, but it's not really that big of a deal. It's obviously Necrotic now. See if we could recover any damage.
Yeah. Damn it.
Okay, it's no big deal. So up here we had the trouble in the last key, so let's make sure we don't have it this time. Step 1 is getting this pack on the left and not aggroing anything else. So kind of standing like right here and just gripping the collector in will make that a lot easier. And then as long as nobody backpedals into the shit behind us, this should make it impossible to pull anything extra.
Ah, shit.
Where are the mobs? Huh. And I guess we killed them. Okay. If that's the case, that makes it a lot easier. Yeah, every time that happens, it's like very predictable, but it's hectic to deal with it, so I always try to make sure that I have 1 CD and some runic power pool to instantly death strike after it. And if you do that, you're in no danger. Oh, there they are. They were just snapping around, I guess.
Dang it. Again. Yeah, I don't understand. I'm just
It's hard. It's not. This is like
regular attacks are getting me.
It's Necrotic too,
Yeah.
of course. But yeah, the main thing
yeah.
is just keeping some kind of defensive pooling for those big hits, because they're going to do a ton of damage.
Okay.
So he's going to open with Tenderize, I think. Yeah, there's Tenderize, so you've now gotten a debuff that makes you take more damage, and there's the first Mutilate. So it's going to keep going. He's going to do it 4 times. You're going to get 4 stacks. and the fourth time is going to be the hardest. So I'd say maybe no CD for the first one, then 2 medium CDs, and then something like Icebound or something big at the end. So, but of course, 31 stacks of Necrotic kind of takes all the planning out of the picture.
Yeah.
Necrotic is just a terrible affix, honestly, man. I hate to tell you. Especially as Blood DK, it's just a really unfair affix.
Beware. Beware.
I just having the pet on it. That's good.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
He's a pro player.
Beware.
Yes, he is. That's definitely the easiest way to drop stacks. It is possible to do it with just kiting if you really plan your movements well, but it's quite difficult because the mob can't be slowed or anything. And then again, we just want to make sure that these first sets hit their targets, and if they don't, then people will take damage. Again, you might see it as a tank. People DPS are just not able to do it, and if they get both, they'll just get one shot.
When do you typically use Vampiric Blood?
Great question. That is the unsung strength of Blood DK, that spell. So if you don't use that well, it's going to really hurt your performance. And I would say the best way to approach it when you're unsure if you can or can't use it well is just use it as often as possible. If it's up, use it.
Yeah. Whenever I start like a big pack, I typically have been trying to pop it.
Yeah, and are you using Red Thirst? Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Yeah, Red Thirst. So yeah, it's going to be up pretty much every pack. It's just depending on when in the pack, and if you have it on the pole, that's a great time to use it. Maybe you want to wait 10 or 15 seconds to make sure that you get it for a good mechanic or something, but otherwise it's just always something that you want to use as quick as possible, because that I think that's the difference between the good and the bad Blood DKs out there. Like, bad Blood DKs are going to sit on their CDs and never basically just have really low uptime on all their CDs, and without these things you're really nothing. Like, if you ever try to do a key without ever using if you ever try to use a key without using any of your CDs in a whole key, you would just never have any hope. You just die every time. Won't be able to res though because the pet's out.
Coming back.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be alright.
We got through the first one.
Yep. That's mob was bolstered too, so that makes it even harder.